What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me,
Liam.
And today we are diving into the season finale of Reacher, Season 3 on Prime. But before we do, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do so. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a single episode. We are very close to 27,000 subscribers. Really appreciate every last one of you for showing up, for tuning in, for commenting, because really that's what this is about, right? This is a discussion about TV series, about movies, about what we love and what we hate. We really appreciate you guys always chiming in. And so, without further ado, let's dive in to Reacher finale.
Yeah, you got so much right.
Yeah, I got quite a bit right. I did not get all the deaths correct, but I did get quite a few of my predictions correct otherwise.
Yep, and the length of Paulie and Reacher's fight
was perfect.
Yes, it was.
I think for me, there was a lot of really great, yes parts of that episode. But one of the things that I've talked about basically all season is I really did not want the Reacher Paulie fights to be a one and done, like a quick, I shoot you, you're dead, or, I hit you with a truck, or like whatever it would be, like real quick death. And boy, let me know what you guys thought personally down below. But for me, did they deliver? There were multiple times during that fight where I'm like, oh, they're dead. Oh, they're dead. And then they just keep coming. And it was like a running joke with the both of them. Like, God damn, still? Like, let's go.
You know, that reminded me of when Peter Griffin sees the chicken.
The chicken and Peter.
That's what I thought of with this.
That went for like 7 seasons, didn't it? That for that particular gag ran for like 7 seasons.
It went a long time.
Yeah.
But that's how I felt in this episode, was every time you think they're just about had it, it just keeps on going.
Yeah, no, I thought well played. I mean, the way that, Reacher finally starts to move out of the way, but he's still getting hit. And you think maybe Reacher's got him with the bags of feed, but it turns out that it's actually Paulie who's got Reacher, and he starts hanging him, and you're like, oh shit, how is he gonna get out of this? I thought for sure someone was gonna show up and like save him, but no, Reacher just freaking pulls himself up, rips himself down, and then goes back after him with a freaking rake. That part was awesome.
The rake was very important for the water scene, and as they're tumbling down the hill, just like the fight scene, they go into the water, then they go under. You think they're dead again. Obviously, we know Reacher's not going to die.
Yeah.
But do you think they're dead again? They come back up. You think he got rid of Paulie again. He's walking down the street. Paulie's coming up behind him again.
Yeah.
And it just kept on going.
No, I thought that last one there was pretty definitive. Like, he punches him in the throat, kicks him in the sternum or the stomach. So he runs out of air.
Yeah, knocked the wind out.
And he's clearly suffocating and drowning, right? So floating down. So I'm like, oh, he got him. And then you see him pop back up. I'm like, dude's hard to kill. And then I think the actual death is well played. He wasn't going to beat him with strength. He wasn't going to beat him with speed. He beat him with his mind. Which what Reacher, even though Reacher is a mountain of a man, that's one of his defining characters, is he is strategic. He can think quickly and well.
Hence why I had such a problem in the last episode of Reacher not planning for the possibility of the drop site or the deal site being moved.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. I just want to finish up with the Paulie fight because, him pulling the trigger and killing himself basically was a very fitting end to that dynamic, I think. And Reacher got it. He got his, so that was good.
Yeah. So you're bigger and stronger, I'm just smarter.
Yeah. So let's jump back, because the episode
started with him sniping a bunch of people.
With an ambush, yeah. The episode starts off with the ambush that Quinn definitely sent Beck to his death.
Yep.
I originally had thought maybe Quinn had leveraged Richie to get Beck to turn on Reacher, because Quinn maybe knew who Reacher was, but I was wrong on that theory for sure.
Yeah, and we didn't find that out till the very end.
We'll get to that. I want to talk about Quinn's death at the very end, because that's cherry on top. But we turns out that, rewriting my brain real quick, Beck is not down. It's not turning on him. He's actually getting set up, and so every ATF agent gets killed. It's carnage. It's ultimately carnage. The only people that really walk away are one bad guy, Reacher, Duffy, and Villanueva.
Well, bad guy drove away.
Right, gets away from the situation. Doesn't necessarily live very long, but gets away from that situation, which is what gets him past the gate, which gets him into the fight with Paulie, is, obviously all of that situation. So,
And Villanueva's terrible driving skills.
yeah, he's a great character because he reminds you of the everyday guy who wants to do right, but necessarily isn't a elite soldier like Reacher, right? Or someone who is like...
Yeah, the fight scene that he had with the dude in the bathroom said all that too.
But it was real.
It was.
Right? Like, someone like
Slop.
Villanueva is not going to fight a trained professional and just come out on top. Like, that took everything he had to come out and win that fight. And ultimately, it's because he was smart and electrocuted the guy that he was able to win. Otherwise, he was not going to win.
Through line. Brains.
Yeah, it's brains over brawn. Right.
Yes. But I did like the line when he saw the guy in the bathroom. He's like, yeah, I'm the plumber.
I didn't think that was going to work.
That part was awesome. I love that line.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why he's a good character, too.
Yeah.
Is the humor he brings to it. And the banter between him and Reacher. Absolutely great.
Yeah, even at the end.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say that. I'm waiting.
Yeah, so we get them back. So they basically survive the ambush, get back to the house. Paulie fights Reacher. The rest of them go inside.
Pick up Neagley.
She's my favorite character still till this day. The way that she just walks in the room, immediately looks around, sees how the other waiters are holding the tray, switches her hand. She's just so smart. Mm-hmm. She knows exactly what to do. And I'm like, damn. For me, those little details are what make it believable. Because without that, it's just, you're forcing me to believe that this person can do that thing. Mm-hmm. But when you give me those little details, I know that person can do that thing. And so now I'm like, I'm in it, right? And Neagley and Reacher do that a lot, where they write them to show, not tell. And I think that's great. Where a lot of TV today,
I think they do both. They do show and tell.
They have to, right? It's that thing we've talked about many times in the past, and especially you brought it up many times, where they have to basically feed it to the audience, otherwise they don't pick it up. Because most people are watching TV to tune out, not tune in like us, and so they're like, "Oh, I missed that." And there's times we miss shit. I missed shit on the last Wheel of Time episode.
Well, there's too much.
Yeah,
it's a lot. Sometimes too much to pick up all the details.
It is a lot. And I guarantee you, most people who do what we do watch it multiple times before they talk about it. Where you and I, they're also reviewing it or trying to give you facts about it, where we're just discussing it. So it makes a little bit more sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, they get to the house and things get awesome, right? Quinn, it's falling apart. Quinn has no control. The Russians are in complete control. They're not, it's the Yemens, right? Because the Russians are the ones that show up later.
Yes.
Who are they?
I was extremely disappointed with the use of the Russians. I thought they were going to play a way bigger role. It was just an excuse.
I don't know. We'll just go there right now, and we'll jump back. Because Reacher gives him his name. Mm-hmm. He says, "I'm Reacher." You think that guy's going to go back and just let it all go? Forget about it? I think season 4 has to do with Reacher and the Russians now.
Well, what I meant was I thought they were going to play a bigger role in this season.
Oh, okay. No, I think this is what I'm teeing us up for the future big bad. Because I don't think the Russians are going to allow Reacher to strong arm them and force them into a decision the way he did. Mm-hmm. And so him and Neagley are probably going to have to deal with the consequences of that. Anyway.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they won't make the deal right away, which is kind of a thing I've seen in other movies. So I think it is a pretty common thing for Americans to want to rush to business, and other cultures are like, we got time. But I also think it was a power play, right? Like, you have no control here. I will do what I want.
I think that's more of what it was. But I do also like when co-opted, or she got herself out of the situation of being the person of interest by the other waiter and turned him into an asset. And fake asset, but still, I thought that was hilarious. And how quickly he jumped on it, like, oh yeah, I'll watch him like a hawk.
She's just so smart. She knew. She heard 2 things from him. 1, he's in control and he has a power issue. And 2, he hates this other guy. So what does she do? She turns around and says, "Hey, I'm going to give you more control and you can aim it at the other guy."
Yep.
Perfect. It's like the guy, she knew how to play him.
Yes. All right. Beck.
Yeah.
The Beck scene.
we've got a couple of different things that happen, right? So we have Villanueva go to try to save Richie, gets in that fight like we mentioned, wins, and you have Richie sneak through the door. Like, what are you doing here? And so Richie now knows that they're there to save him, right? And so we have Richie now going to look for his dad, but runs into...
I knew that was going to happen as soon as Villanueva said, "You go, I got this."
Yeah.
I knew in that moment that's when he was going to get caught.
Yep. So Quinn takes him, very in Quinn fashion, leveraging him to get out of the house.
I need more firepower.
So goes into the dad's office to grab more firepower, which I don't... Very strange for a avid gun collector to have loaded firearms in display cases on his wall. I don't know anyone who keeps them loaded. But anyway.
I thought that too. And then Chekhov's gun literally made an appearance, the toy gun all over again.
Which I thought was cool. I thought that was a cool kind of show of courage for Beck, right? He knows he has no power or control in that situation, but he also has a great love and care for his son, and so he's willing to literally put his life on the line.
Which we'll talk a little bit more about later, why that matters so much.
Yeah. Yeah, so he tries to save Richie, and it doesn't necessarily work out in his favor.
No, the glue comment.
The epoxy, yeah.
Yeah, we've got to wait a couple of days for it to fully set. Epoxy's not that bad.
He bought some real cheap shit. He used bubble gum.
Bubblegum would make way more sense in that situation. But yeah, he gets shot up as the barrel starts to droop like a bad cartoon.
Yep. That gets shot up.
Yep. Oh, he goes and gets the Uzi.
The kid does. Richie shoots it, and then Quinn runs.
Yep. And then he takes off running.
Yep.
And then in the whole scramble, everyone's fighting. Oh, Duffy. Duffy has a great scene. Shoots a guy in the dick.
Yeah. Well, we got to point out that at that point, Reacher has killed Paulie, has gone to the barn where the weapons are being stored for this exchange, breaks open the crate, can't find ammo for the automatics, breaks open the shotgun crate, happens to have ammo in it, and it is now walking around with a shot-off shotgun, just blowing people away, and starts like the guys open the barn doors, blows him away, blows him away, blows him away, and is now, because of that alarm basically being set off with all the gunshots, gives Duffy permission to do what she does, which, great scene.
I was surprised the LMG didn't give it away.
Yeah.
It's an LMG. It's kind of a distinguished sound.
And based on the scenes where Richie's in his room looking at the guard post where that is, it's not far enough away that it would ring true. You would hear that all day.
Even with the loud music.
Yeah. Interesting.
That part I had a little trouble with, too.
Well, anyway, Reacher officially launches the alarm in the show, although, yes, we have to erase the fact that machine gun would be really loud when they shot it.
But the shotgun in the barn gave it away.
Yeah. So the barn must be closer to the house. I'll just put that in my mind. It allows
behind the house.
It allows me to move forward. And so comes in the kitchen, blows dude away, which gives Duffy permission to start shooting, which basically gives everyone permission to start opening fire and give up. Like, give up their cover. So Neagley's walking around, gun in hand. Duffy shoots dude in the dick, then the head, rolls and kills the other guy, and is now trying to get a very drugged up Theresa out of the house.
Yes.
And then this is where, like, all this chaos is just starting to happen.
Yep. And Quinn takes advantage of this chaos and decides, you know what? Fuck you guys. I don't care about the deal. All I care about is that money. Shoots the two guards, takes the money, and runs.
Yeah. Tries to escape, and very quickly gets stopped right at the driveway by none other than the Russian mob.
Yep.
Two SUVs and a car pull up very quickly, stop him in his tracks, and are about to take him away when Reacher walks out, shotgun in hand, pointed directly in front of him, just looking like a stoic mountain again, saying, "No, you can't have him. He's mine."
And he spoke Russian.
Yeah, well, I would think, being a high-level military officer, as well as the leader of his own special investigations units who travel all around the world doing different investigations, that he can speak more than one language.
Yeah, languages are tough, though. And
most high-level military people that I know speak more than one language. At least more than one language, if not, like, 2, 3.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not talking about, like, sergeants or anything. I'm talking about, like, officers, high-level people in, like, security clearances and things like that. They usually speak more than one language.
Well, I worked with a lot of linguists. So
They definitely speak more than one language.
well, they do, yeah. But those were the only people that I knew that were officers or higher up or enlisted at all that spoke multiple languages.
Really?
In that case, yeah.
Yeah. See,
Aside from the native person that speaks another language because of their family.
yeah.
I wasn't including
Interesting.
them in that. But, well,
I'm
because
tripping, yeah.
Reacher also speaks French because of his mom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Reacher to me kind of embodies a lot of what I personally experienced, which was the high level operative usually speaks more than one language.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have back to the scene with the Russians.
Yeah.
Quinn no longer has money. He had to drop it because he was running.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now they're in front of the Russians. He's like, they're about to take Quinn away. And Reacher's like, fuck no, he's mine.
Yep.
And they're like, no, he's ours.
You're outnumbered.
Yep. And then we got Duffy coming out of the bushes, Neagley coming out, right?
Villanueva. Yeah. So they very quickly even the odds with guns. But the problem always is the higher person, right? So that's what the Russian says. He's like, listen, he's like, I might die, but I answer to someone higher than me, and I'm not going to come back empty-handed because it's going to be worse, right? That's basically what he's saying. It's like, the punishment for not doing this is going to be worse than if I stay here and die, so I'm just going to die. I'm not falling this sword right now. So we're at an impasse. Mm-hmm. And that's when Neagley walks. Like, no, well, Neagley switches too.
Great. Yeah, with the money.
Which, yeah, because originally she walked out with the money and tries to offer him the money first. She goes with carrot before stick. And then she's like, all right, you don't want the money? How about this? We're all going to die.
And no one wins.
Yeah. Which ultimately pushes them to take the money and leave Quinn. And then that, to me, I understand that, like, they should have played a bigger role, the Russians, with them leaving. And then Villanueva being like, I'm going to go check on Richie. And then Duffy being like, I'm going to call an ambulance, but it's going to take a little while. So you got your time. And she walks away.
And then Neagley, do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do, boss. And then she walks away. Mm-hmm. Right? Just that feel like everyone knows what's about to happen. And they're like, yep, let's do this thing. And then Reacher, man. That to me, I was a little, obviously I had the theory that Quinn knew who he was. So not having that theory be correct is always not fun. But I think that the way that he wrote it, way better than my theory. Because having him be like shaking in his boots, like he was like, great acting. That dude looked afraid, like really shaking in his boots. And Reacher, even like, you know, trying to work with them, trying to like do anything he can to get out of it. And Reacher just being like, you don't remember me, do you? And he's just like, no. And then he remembers, that's okay. I'm not important. Her name was Dominique, right? Just that, like this whole thing has never been about Reacher. It's been about Cole the entire time. Mm-hmm. And he just cements it right there. And then letting Quinn remember. And then him just being like,
that's the last thing that he got to remember.
Perfect. And then obviously it zooms out because even Prime's not going to show us someone getting their head splattered all over something.
Prime's not?
Well, okay, the boys. The boys will show us. But Reacher doesn't. This series doesn't show that. And so they zoom out, way out, so that they can, boom, take his head off. Mm-hmm. And then I think from there on out, it's just really wrapping up the loose ends until the next season, right? We get to see the heartfelt conversation between Reacher and Richie, where he's like, hey, you finally get to do the thing you want. You might as well grab the money and go. And so Richie does that.
And Richie also mentions that I was just grateful that I got to see the good in my father right before he died. I just wish he showed me a little bit more of that while he was still around. And I feel that every kid can relate to that. And I can't speak to the other end of it, whether that's an actual fear for the parent, because I've never been on that side.
I would say that, unfortunately, majority of the world can relate to that, but I wouldn't say everyone, because there are people who whole lives is just dedicated to their children, right? And so I would like to believe that that child has felt every part of, the love, care, nurturing, responsibly, whatever that, that side that, Beck finally shows their whole life.
Okay, I could make an argument that too much of that may do the same thing.
I mean, a coddled child and an abused child is still a traumatic child, right? They're still traumatized in a way, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I agree. So we get Duffy facing the music. Mm-hmm. And
tying up loose ends for Reacher.
Which I thought was really awesome, that she was willing to kind of rewrite the story slightly, tell the white lie, if you will, to keep Reacher out of trouble. that, the Russians did the killing, not him.
White lie being a felony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friend helping out a friend, if you will. In the context of killing one of the most evil villains that we have seen, a true traitor to his country, a piece of crap human being, I would say it's a good white lie. You know what? I'll paint that gray area. I'm okay with that. She also is no longer DEA. The ATF kind of forgave them a little. Like they're like, whatever. It is what it is. And then the DEA fires her. Mm-hmm. And he does bring up, I thought maybe she'd end up working with Neagley in the future. And she still may, but not right away.
They left it open.
Right. Not right away. But Reacher does bring it up.
He's like, point that you were correct.
Reacher brings it up. So I was on point with that. And then Reacher gets the motorcycle and drives off.
Nope. They go back to the young kid who died. The junior officer or whatever.
Villanueva goes back home with the flowers, and his wife's really excited to see him, which she was scared about.
Yeah, but I thought right before that, Duffy and him went to go see the kid's parents who...
Yeah, but you already said that.
Okay, I didn't...
I was just I was adding on the more things that we forgot.
Okay. I thought that was a nice little touch, especially them putting the badge and the ID in the nice little box.
Of course, yeah.
But that I know is important for the episode. But at the same time, it was like, they really waited till they just got there, put it in. That's where my mind went with it.
Yeah. We know better. So it's like that wouldn't happen that way. That would have been prepared before they got in the car. But anyway. And then Theresa goes back to her grandma, right? So all the loose ends get tidied up.
I told you that grandma was too important.
Yeah. They're not going to go to her house to not do something. Yeah. And then Reacher drives down. Beautiful Maine coast. Man, that pull out as he's riding down that windy coast on the motorcycle, I was like, dude, I'd love to take a ride down that coast. That's gorgeous view. But yeah, and then he rides off into the next season, season 4, which we will most likely pick up with some Russian problems. And let me know what you guys think about this. I really, really, really want Neagley to get her own spin-off. Give us Neagley doing PI stuff in Chicago. Give us some cameos of Reacher every now and again, but I would love to watch that.
So do you know what Alan Ritchson's favorite book of the series is? Die Trying.
Which one?
It's one of the books. Which
number?
They're not going in order.
Oh, okay.
I think this season's book Persuader is book 6 or 7.
Okay.
And then the theory for the season 4 is that they're going to go back to Reacher's army past and family backstory, continuing more flashbacks, which was pretty much The Enemy, was that book.
Okay, so predictions for season 4 is that they're going to pull a lot of that story from the book The Enemy.
Yes.
Got it. And
this one was Persuader.
Got it. Cool. Let us know, guys. What did you think of season 3 on a whole? I personally, I enjoy Reacher a lot. This season did not disappoint, especially coming to an end as it did. I thought very well done for season finale. A lot of loose ends tied up. Some things that we had to kind of push to the back of the mind and accept, but what TV show doesn't ask that of us these days?
Like that fucking amazing gutter.
The gutter that's that could hold 400 pounds or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. But, if you guys are not already subscribed, go ahead and do so. If you enjoyed the content, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're not a member of our Patreon and you'd like to get early access to videos, shout out on videos, maybe even get a little control on what we talk about and pick one of the series we review, then go ahead. The link's down in the description for a little cup of coffee. You can become a member, and it greatly helps us out with producing these videos and getting them out to you. So really appreciate you guys doing that. And as always, just make sure you're subscribed because that's the best way to get access to our content, as well as in the notification bell so that you never miss a single drop. Otherwise, YouTube just sometimes doesn't tell you.
Her name was Dominique.
Thank you guys for being here. My name is Chris.
Liam.
And we'll see you guys on this playlist right here, which they say you don't really like. Actually, a lot of people really do enjoy these ones right here. It's the entire seasons of Reacher that we have done so far. We did one in the past, this whole season. You check them out right there, as well as Prime. We really love it. A lot of really great stuff we reviewed on it. You can check out all the Prime stuff right here. And then YouTube said you really love this one above my head, so you can check that out as well. But we'll see you on those videos. Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.